They had Lev Parnas, a former Rudy Giuliani associate, testify that Joe Biden has never done anything wrong, ever, and he's the most squeaky clean politician in D.C., and that apparently it's Trump and Giuliani who are dirty. Watch this.
From shortly after my arrest on October 9, 2019 to now, I have been trying to share the irrefutable truth with you. The American people have been lied to by Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and various cohorts of individuals in government and media positions. They created falsehoods to serve their own interests, knowing it would undermine the strength of our nation. Everything was for the ultimate benefit of Donald Trump and thereby Vladimir Putin.
Well, Steve, there you have it. Lev Parnas has spoken. He didn't see a thing. I guess that
Yeah,
means
there
Joe
it is.
Biden squeaky clean. But I do want to quickly say, Lev Parnas mentioned John Solomon's name in his testimony, by the way, 3 times yesterday, at least 3 times, it might have been more, saying that John Solomon was a political hack as well, and that he was in on it with Giuliani. I mean, so if you're going to mention John Solomon in those type of terms, and I've known John, you guys have known John for years, I've known him for, well, I've known him for decades.
Look, John's reporting speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. John's reporting speaks for itself. You know, they've made fun of him time and again, has the corporate media. And what happens? A little bit of time will pass, maybe a month, maybe 6 months, maybe a year or more sometimes, and they'll come back and say, oh, look, Solomon was right again. Right. And that's how this goes. But I'll say this about the impeachment hearing. It was interesting. It was fun. AOC, she made herself look as bright as always. Nice little exchange there. But here's the thing. I do not believe they're going to pursue impeachment. My takeaway is they're not going to pursue impeachment because if you want to go back and talk about polling numbers, and this may not be a popular position to take, but I'm going to tell you right now, the Republicans are not going to go for the vote on impeachment because it's not popular. And the majority of the American people still think, probably shouldn't go after that. And so I think in an election year, impeachment is not popular with the American voter. It would potentially skew the outcome a little bit in favor of Joe Biden because people would feel sorry for the old guy. You know, he'd be a sympathetic figure at that point. So I think that the Republicans are going to avoid that vote altogether. I'll see if that turns out to be true, but that's what I am staking my position on today.
Steve, I agree with you on that one. You talked about AOC questioning Tony Bobulinski, and I'll tell you what, he made her look like a complete fool, which obviously isn't hard. We know she does that almost every day. But, I mean, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing for her, the Democratic Party. For those who haven't seen it yet, let's take a look at that.
Is it your testimony today that you personally witnessed President Joe Biden commit a crime?
I believe the fact that he was sitting with me while I was putting together a business deal.
Did you witness the president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir?
You
specifically.
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption statutes.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is the
It's a category of crimes that you're then charged.
You have charges.
A long 100.
You have charges. Sir, please
name the
name
exact statute under RICO.
Yes.
Well, it's funny. In this committee room, everyone's not here. There's over 8
All right, sir. I reclaim my
lawyers that went to law school.
RICO is the criminal statute. I had to do it. That is being used to prosecute President Trump in Georgia. I mean, Steve, wow, this is ridiculous.
Unbelievable. You know, I feel like the collective IQ drops when she speaks. I just feel that we all get a little dumber, but because we sit there, we look and we go, how can she say that? Yeah, RICO is a whole list of crimes. And by the way, if she believes that, then do they believe that the RICO statutes being used against Donald Trump should also be, disregarded and ignored? Of course not. It's always a double standard inside the Beltway where they've never seen a scandal or a scheme they couldn't see one way or the other. They always see it for their team. And that's why these hearings, as entertaining as yesterday's was, prove nothing. It gets us nowhere. They all grandstand. They all sit up there and pontificate and bloviate about whatever they want to get out so they can get the sound bite. I mean, Jamie Raskin and Dan Goldman, that's all they're trying to do. Get the sound bite out. Get the sound bite. They don't care about the truth. They just want a 12-second bite that makes the circuit on television and radio and the internet.